Welcome back to Raised by Giants. I'm Ryder Lee. In this episode, we have returning guest, researcher, and content creator Paul Knight from WhattheflockTV, diving deep into this realm, how information is disseminated. Is anything real? Join us now. Paul Knight from What the Flock TV. It's good to see you, brother. Thanks so much for coming back on my show. It's been a minute since you've been on the show. We normally do, well, we got our new show, the 11th hour that we do together. We've been trying to do every couple of weeks or every other week or something like that. But welcome back to the show, brother. How are you doing?
I am doing okay. I would like to say if I could see you, people were experiencing technical stuff, but hey, we crack on, we soldier on, and it's just good to be back on your channel. Like you said, I can't remember the last time it was actually, but yeah, we're cracking on with our side project, our joint channel, the 11th hour. Guys, check that out if you ever get the chance. And I'm just honored that you invited me back on your channel.
Well, it's an honor and a privilege to have you on, brother. What have you been working on here recently? You're doing some wall work, right? Got a new video coming out on the walls.
I'm trying to remember. It's like you're trying to remember anything. Yeah, the video I'm working on a minute is about ancient walls because I've just got a fascination with walls for some reason. I think it might be a man thing, but you know what I mean? It just intrigues me when you look at walls. What's the purpose of a wall? Because it's not necessarily just for like protection or, opulence and things like this. There's more behind it. So I just wanted to look at some walls that people might not have heard of. That's the thing I'm working on in a minute. But you know what I mean? I've been working on other older videos, and it's just it's like a medical round, and you don't know ask from the elbows, we say over in the UK. You just keep on grinding, don't you, and looking for more answers or questions, because people are always looking for answers, and it seems to be when you research you actually find more questions. But that's what I find, that's what intrigues me, that's what excites me, because if you didn't find any more questions, that's when you should be worried. But a lot of the people in the community seem to work on the other hand, the other way. It's like, we need answers. No, for me, if you didn't get no questions, that's when you should be worried. That's just my personal opinion, but I've been dropped a few times on my head, so that might be it.
No, I agree with that. I mean, people are always they want answers to all their questions. And normally, whenever answers come, more questions arise. Like, I feel like I'm accomplished if I do a video with someone or I do an interview with someone and people have more questions after, right? I think that's the most important thing. So looking at like walls and stuff, what do you think about the walls of Jericho? You going to put walls of Jericho in this new walls video?
I was gonna do. I have talked about the walls of Jericho in older videos, in the sense of briefly when I've been talking about sound and weaponry and frequency. See, when we all think of walls, that's one of the first walls we think of. You know what I mean? Even if you're not reading the Bible and things like that, Wall of Jericho, Great Wall of China, Berlin Wall, the Mexican Wall. You know what I mean? These are some of the things that you automatically hone in on, isn't it, for a reason? So I want to look at walls that maybe you've not heard of and are not partially there. I mean, I did an older one. It must have been about 2-3 years old. And do you know when you're just going back through what you've made? Because what I do is, guys, if anyone's sure, I have a separate portable hard drive that when I'm making content, I save it to that first, and then I upload it from that to whatever platform I'm going on. And I saw the old video the other day on there, and I clicked on it. I thought, so when you how we make videos gets a little bit better, and you know, you're a bit more accomplished. I'm still not now, but when you look back and you're like, oh my god, how could I put that out? And I thought, you know what, I'm going to remake that. So I was just going to remake it and put all the original ones in. But I thought, you know, I'm not going to do that. Can I use my research skills to find walls that hardly of any of us have heard of, apart from that, because some do. It was hard last time, and you know what? I think I've done it. Some of them might not technically be walls, but that's the intriguing thing. And you know, when it gets out, when I finally get it done, people will see on you know where I'm coming from. I think I might put a little bit of thoughts on it just to elaborate on it. But like I said, it's intriguing me walls from making an old video a long time ago. Maybe a year old now. How the ancients used to use blood in bones, in cement, and things like that. That's so it's always intrigued me. You know what I mean? Because think about it, if guys watching this and you go and see an old, you know, you're out and about, you know, I don't know what countries you're in, but you're seeing old structures and you got different people in different communities talking about like mud flood and meltology and things like this. And you're looking at these old structures because you're getting curious. You got questions and answers that you know, sometimes you need boots on the ground to see. And when you're looking at these old walls, you don't think that sometimes the ancients used blood as a cement and mortar. What about, did they use human bones? I mean, humans back in the day, like in ancient times, were born on bricks. They used to give birth on bricks. So, you know what I mean? And then there's always that famous Pink Floyd song, you know, about leave our kids alone, you know, and
another brick in the wall.
Yeah, another brick in the wall. So I did a long video on that ages ago about we are just bricks in the wall. You know what I mean? So it's metaphorically, but we was born onto this earth from bricks. That's what they used to do. And it's just curious, why did they do from bricks? Do you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? That's just why I've always had a fascination with walls, not just because of architectural, but metaphorically and what they're for. So in this video, it's just plainly looking at walls that we might not have heard of existed and briefly giving some stats on it. And you know what I mean? Just to, not like a stocking filler type of thing, but you know what I mean? Just to break up the monotony of just deep diving videos all the time. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you just want to break and not want to think sometimes. And that's what I'm trying to do with this video.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think that the catacombs in Paris, I believe, is where the catacombs are. A lot of those walls are made out of bone, or they have skulls like implanted into the wall.
If you go back, I don't know if I've got that on. No, I don't think they've got that on Whattheflock. And on my Black Sheep research before that channel got taken down, I did a video on that. It's on my Odysee. But what I noticed, and again, a lot of these ancient sites, Paris, have catacombs underneath. And the other cities are also built on top of, what's the word that called? Ossuaries. Is it ossuaries?
Like a burial ground?
Yeah, like, and I think ossuaries where they put some bones and you know, the remains, and there is another word for it, but yeah, crypts and different things, but they were always built on top of ancient, basically cemeteries, you know, ossuaries. And that intrigued me because obviously people don't realize that, you know, in bone, it's crystallized form. Basically, we're made of 65% apatite crystals, I think, if I remember my old video. So there's that piezoelectric type of effect with bones put under pressure. Could they be another form of energy harvesting? Why are they polished? Did they eat them? And then where did the blood and guts, etc., go? So that's what got me looking into ancient forms of cement used with blood, and why a lot, you know, it's not just the reason why there's red brick, but it always got to me, why? Do you know what I mean? Why did they use human blood in bricks? And then you will find, like in Great Wall of China, the people, the bodies buried in that. And that gets you to thinking, like I was saying at the beginning, all these ancient walls, you're looking at a wall and you're thinking, what's that bloody wall doing there for? You don't think, what's it made of? Are they hiding, could they be hiding thousands of bodies in the wall? Because it's not the first thing you look at, is it? When you see a wall, it's like, oh, who's built that? Was it in an advanced race? And then you theorize on what its purpose was. The easiest thing is to hide a lot of secrets within walls. You know what I mean? So there's so many different ways that you can look at that topic and not realize, you know what I mean? Like you said, you've got Paris, you've got the Vatican, you've got Prague. There's so many places built on top of these ossuaries. Then you've got one in Napoli. What's funny enough, that was tied to the Janus cult, because Janus is a patron saint of Napoli as well. Not the Janus I talk about a lot, but another Janus, a pope, and a bishop. And obviously it's a Janus cult in that sense, but you know what I mean? It's not the one. So it's always intriguing when we look at these ancient sites. And what I like is getting more questions, like I was saying at the beginning, because I don't like, and it's not like a bugbear of mine, but I don't like, when you find something new, topic, Ryder and listeners at home, that you get told you have to go with this theory. I don't like that, because who's come up with that theory? Theories are just opinions, just thoughts, just perspectives on what evidence you've accumulated to formulate that thought process, that idea. A and B and C make D. But sometimes, if you look at that in a mirror, sometimes we overthink things sometimes as well, which can correlate in when we look at these ideas. Sometimes apple is just an apple. Sometimes it's not metaphorically, or you know what I mean? Sometimes it just is. Do you know what I mean? And
people looking into things way too deep. They're like, oh yeah, well this means this and that means that, and it's symbolic and all that. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But also when you think of these walls as well, when bones are really strong, bones have like a really strong structure. So if there was a way to maybe not even grind them up, or maybe just put the physical bone, like a bone wall, right? That would be pretty powerful, right? I mean,
that's what we were talking about, the piezoelectric type of effect. Whereas piezoelectric, for anyone who doesn't know, is like you mainly do it with crystals, but anything that contains energy, if you spark, when you spark it, crystals together create a piezoelectric type of effect. They reckon it's how the pineal gland works on that piezo. You get a spark and it, the crystal, ignites. And like your bones, when you move in, little electric sparks and currents. That's why we're made like this. And it's just a thought process, because in Paris they use bone as well. They did use a lot of the bones as flour for the bread. So if they're using that, why is there still bones there? Do you understand me? Did you just use partial bones? Why did they look boiled? Do you know what I mean? And polished? Is that just over time? Did they actually polish it and then stack it? And people do talk about the energy within this. And is that why cities or more sacred sites are built on top to harness the energy of the dead? Hence, cemeteries in churches or things like this. It just gets you thinking.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, what would be another purpose for, dead people? Like, they would want to find an alternate purpose. If you have a lot of people that are dying, I mean, really, cemeteries, that just takes up a lot of room, right?
Yeah.
It takes up a lot of space and a lot of room. Like if you were to just bury everybody, judging by how many people has been living on the planet since what people think the beginning of time. I don't know, who knows how many thousands or maybe possibly even millions of years people have been here. We're probably walking all over dead people as we speak.
Like dust in the air. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, particles off your skin type of thing. And that's what we talk about. Earth built up in layers, you know, buried on top of buried on top. And this is just, like I said, a fascinating topic of where is all the bodies? You know what I mean? You know, you're talking World War One. You're talking, what was it now? Something stupid like 70 to 100 or 200 million dead or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And the Spanish plague, no, it's not Spanish plague, the Spanish flu, that was supposedly hundreds of millions. So, you know, you're talking hundreds of millions of bodies were. Do you mean there's so many cemeteries? I know some of them are huge, but you're talking millions. So where are the bones?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And when you think like this, it really gets you. I mean, I was only talking to a friend the other day, and we was talking about, you know, the shape of this earth, because there's a lot of, you know, people get aggressive and triggered when you talk about what this realm is. Now, I just said to my friend, said it doesn't matter if you believe it's flat, concave, donut, or a globe, but sit here and truly think to yourself, and this is me, when you really do think, step away from the theory of what this realm is, your mouth drops. Because just think about it. I'll use just as an example. A lot of people believe it's flat. Well, okay. People believe it's infinite. Or what if it's just a disk? What's this disk doing? What's around the disk? Oh, we have a firmament. I've done so many videos showing you how that's crystallized. And people are talking about it now. And it's like, I've been doing that years ago. But all right, well, what's outside this firmament? Well, we won't know. But that's an example. What is out? Are we just a disk? Well, think about it. It's like, who made the disk if you don't believe in God? Who made the globe if you believe it's a globe? And you think, oh, well, some people believe in space. And then you say, well, there's no such thing as space. Space is not what you think. So straight away, these topics have made you go from, you know, rational, having a laugh, and people get triggered because you're talking about the shape of the realm. Is there a God or not God? But just truly think, step back and think, what shape do you actually believe you're living on? Then think, what's outside that? And it dawns on you. It dawns on me. I don't know. And wow. Is it when you get your head around it? Because people are arguing, oh, it's flat and it's this map, it's this, oh, it's a globe, it's concave. Well, how was it made? What is outside of it? If we're just the only things here, who made us? You know, it's like that, the chicken and the egg thing and things like that. And it's like your mouth drops because you really just really basically thinking about, because when you think about what shape this realm is, you don't really think of where your situation on. You're sitting here doing this video, but what is out there? Is there more life? Is there, you know, because as soon as you start thinking of, well, I'm in that camp and that camp, you're restricting yourself straight away. Because if you might believe in UFOs and what UFOs are, what, you know what I mean? We've had this debate loads of times, but really think, take a seat back and go, wow, if we just this, what is around us? Are we in a simulation? Are we not? Is it real? Did God create something to live on, a globe or a disc, or infinite land? If it's infinite land that goes on forever, fucking hell, pardon me swearing, but isn't, you know,
Yeah.
It really frigs with your head, because you're just showing you how insignificant you really are. People are arguing and fighting over this map, or with this shape, with this shape. Oh no, if that shape, you can't be this shape. And you just sit back and think, well, all right then, if you're that or this or that, what's out of there? And who created all this? And you're like, shit. Do you know what I mean? And that is basically why it's like we're just tortured in the black. And when we, like I said many times, when we learn more shit and more information, it seems to expose more what's in this reality. And it's how you perceive, because we all perceive differently. We're all made to perceive it differently. It's like Star Trek holodeck. We make it what we perceive. You manifest shit. We had more manifestation powers. I've done videos on the toroidal and breaking that down, showing you that you're thinking the toroidal is, your energy, but it amplifies and then it hits the atmosphere and comes back. And he seems to manifest stuff in this reality. Is that done on purpose? So things just snowball straight away when you really just sit back, and I mean really sit back, just like forget what you know and just think, all right, if I am that, well, what's around you, or what's around that? What made that? Are we just in the void, in the chasm, in amongst the deep? And it's just it's a trippy thing, because we're, like I said, we're fighting over little things in the community. The same information gets regurgitated constantly, and at specific times on social media, you'll get it. January. Oh, did you know January is named after Janus? And then you have Easter. Oh, Easter is named after Easter. Christmas. Oh, blah, 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 and it's like, oh my. And it's the same shit. It's like, are you not learning? Why is that saying it's that? Look into it. You'll find things differently. But they don't.
Yeah, we've created a big echo chamber in this community, a regurgitation of thoughts, ideas, and beliefs, and it keeps getting recycled. I mean, we see this with people in the community, like a new person will pop up and they'll just regurgitate all of the old information that they've heard several times over and over and over again. But I've been messing with a different thought. You know how like some people say that things happen in a higher realm and then they're transferred down into this realm, like it happens in a higher dimension and then it trickles down into our dimension and then manifests here. Yeah. Well, reading the Kabbalah, you realize that the Garden of Eden was in the fourth dimension. The Garden of Eden never existed as a physical place on Earth. It was in the fourth dimension, and the fourth dimension is a dimension that's called Yasad.
Yeah. And in Kabbalah terms.
Yeah. So when Adam and Eve were kicked out of the garden, they were kicked down into the third dimension, into this reality that we are in now. And I've really been juggling with, maybe we are the only physical beings in the universe. Maybe this is the only place that you can incarnate into a physical 3D reality. And this may be the reason why entities want to come here, why we have, people talking about walk-ins, why we have possession, regardless if you believe in possession or demonic possession or demonic entities or any of that stuff. It seems like something is always wanting to come into this reality, like somehow incarnate here or take over somebody's body. Then it's like, well, why would they want to do that? And no one really ever asked that question, like why would any soul or being want to come here so badly that they're willing to take over somebody's body? And I think the explanation that people come up with is like a disincarnated demonic soul, or somebody like a walk-in would be a different kind of consciousness. And some people say that it's like a dead consciousness, like a consciousness that's died here, that's trying to get into a different body. Well, what if this is just the only place in the universe that any of these consciousness can come to actually incarnate, because this is the only place to go? I don't know. It's pretty interesting concept and an interesting theory. And when you look at the Kabbalah, that realm, that Garden of Eden, the fourth dimension is really just a realm of thought. It's not a physical dimension. All the dimensions aren't physical dimensions like we are physical here. That's why we're in a 3D physical reality here. All the supposed dimensions above us would no longer be physical dimensions. So if we're here now, we're in a physical dimension, everything above us would in turn not be physical. The fourth realm would be a dimension of thought. And if we originated from a thought, a God's thought or a creator's thought, then we would really just be a physical manifestation of a thought form.
Yeah, in the toroidal field. Hence why I did that video showing the etymology of that. And obviously God thought we became flesh. We're water, we're frequency, we're memory. Became from a pool. For instance, if anyone's into the old times, Star Trek, and you've got Deep Space Nine, and you have Odo, who's a changeling. We're changelings. I'm not talking about like skinwalkers and things like that, but our personality, our memories, we can change how we are. You might have your father's face or your mother's face. That is genetic memory. That's a memory implanted on your ship. It's a vessel. We're sailing the seas, the currency. The human Q is frequency, but the race, human race. Race means current in etymology wise. So, that's why we talk about maritime law and why I research Janos, because he's the first shipbuilder. So he's the first shipbuilder, hence ships. We're ships. You know what I mean? And then you just look in any religion. Sumerians, their Eden was the not heaven. You know what I mean? Where the gods lived. It was Eden, and it was flat. And then you have different religions believing Eden is Mount Meru or Shambhala, or is there another place? Is it just an entrance? Is it a doorway? Hence why I researched a certain god, because he's the god of doorways, and why he carries the keys, because it's all about frequency. So if you're coming from a different realm, real is Ra'al, you know what I mean? And you're talking about the Kabbalah, Ka, this is basically the Egyptian soul, Ka-Ba, and then you got Al, if you want to shorten it, Kabbalah. You even got Cabal. They call themselves the Cabal. You know what I mean? So it is just like you're going into, in this realm, you're talking about a holodeck where your thoughts can become reality. And if you, for instance, if we have come from the waters above, the waters below, or whatever people believe in, and maybe people get tired and want to, come into a different realm to experience it, or create, when you ships, you create a wake. It's funny how they call a wake at a funeral. And then more videos like the Great Vowel to L Shift, Vowel Shift. It talks about Gnosticism and why they changed the language to stop us learning all the spells. So we'd come back. It's just intriguing, and it's a minefield.
Well, when you think if we are physical manifestations of a thought form from a higher dimension, would we not be creating manifestations here in some kind of lower realm? If it's a trickle down effect, like I'm just, if it is, we don't really know, just theorizing here. If it's a trickle down effect, then would we not be manifesting entities or beings in some lower version of this 3D physical reality? Would we not be manifesting what we would call demons or malevolent entities? Because that's what we associate with lower realms. We associate lower realms with like hell,
Yeah, because
so
it's been intentionally done.
Yeah.
To picture that hell as below, you know what I mean, and heaven above. Well, if everything is mirrored, are they the same place? Is it a manifestation that's making it? Because obviously, when you're looking at this realm, as I talk about it being the realm of 11, 11. And when I did the video on heaven and hell and the old etymology for the letter H, you know, the letter H, and it's like this, and it's as a by it looks like a door. And I said in that video, if you're taking the 2 doors off, what are you left? And you're left with 11, hell and heaven. Is it 11? And you know what I mean? How it's a doorway. So it's like that new film. I don't know if you saw it advertised yet. A friend of mine just messaged me the other day. It's called The Portable Door. I saw the trailer for it before. It looks quite groovy. It's about, you know, like a magic world, and you can go through doors, you know what I mean? And they control all the things, like, you know, if you know, like fate and things. Like if you ever watch the Adjustment Bureau, it reminds me like not a child version of that, but, you know, more Harry Potter style Adjustment Bureau, you know what I mean? And so if you check the trailer, I watched it, the trailer before. It looks all right. It's just intriguing about doors, because we're getting a lot of doors and everything lately. And I just want people to say, I don't know. What's wrong with saying, I don't know? Isn't it? It's a fresher breath air when you hear myself, yourself, and not many other people saying, guys, I don't know. I just don't know. Do you know what I mean? Because as you've looked, we're talking now, you know, about everything that's under the sun, as they say. People have always done that. And this is what we're working our history off. Some scrolls found in ancient times has been taken as fact. People talk about Pythagoras every day. He didn't write one book. What scroll then? Not one scroll, not one book. And he's lauded as the father of mathematics, music, so on and so on. The key in Masonic, you know, Masonic clubs, you know, a lot of the traditions from the Brother of the Pythagoreans, not the one that's out now. There's 2 of them called the Brother of the Pythagoras or Pythagorea. This is like the one you'll see in the old Disney films, when they do the, you know, the star on the hand, and you used to have it on the clothing. It was the you know, secret society of sorts, because they believed in keeping the knowledge, you know what I mean? And that's tying in with everything. Knowledge is associated in Masonic terms with light, you know what I mean? So when you shine a light on something, it reveals information. Turn the light away, what can you learn? If you turn the light away, you're just theorizing and what is out there. And this is what we're doing a lot of. We're theorizing. But the idea, the best trick is to theorize with as much information that you can come in. You know what I mean? There's only so many things you can say about the dark. Do you know what I mean? In ancient times, the dark was light. Do you know what I mean? You know, the white of the day was black. Do you know what I mean? And it's another shade, it's another color. Do you know what I mean? It's we've associated with dark. You know what I mean? From a lot of things. And I just want people to say, I don't know. I'm theorizing, I'm making it up, I'm winging it. Do you know what I mean? Because then it's so refreshing. Because when we see this regurgitated information, it's not even right information. If you look at it, it's not right or wrong. And why is it not right or wrong? Because nothing is fact. The truth is fact, Paul, you're saying. Actually, look it up. You'll see the truth is not fact. The fact contains some truths, but it is perspective again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you're getting into that bit of, oh, well, we're breathing in air. That's a fact. Well, some might say it's a liquid, a gas. You know what I mean? So there's ways around everything. And when I was growing up, it seemed to be there was more facts because we didn't have all the information. It's, you know, zeros, ones, you know, 1 0 1 0. It's the 11 again. It's this age of, you know, computer AI, and you know what I mean? It just gets you to think. That's what I just want people to do. Think. Don't take a meme or something as fact, because you really look into it. and you'll find that you'll probably have a different perspective, because a lot of it is made up. I mean, you can just straight away, when you see something, go and research it, see if it's fact, see if they've just taken the first page it's come up on the search results. Doesn't mean if it's the 16,000 page that's right. And that's another thing we have to get into when we come to this conclusion. Oh, if they're getting heat, they must be telling the truth, and they may be getting heat because they might be talking or being too aggressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That old age message. Oh, well, you know, you're getting this because you're hitting the nail on the truth. Sometimes it's not. You know what I mean? And that can't be used as a barometer for the truth. The only thing is able to tell it is the truth is you. You know, we have all a different truth, and that's why this world can be a beautiful thing and also messed up, because we all have a different, you know, scale on what is truth, and we should embrace that, you know, organized chaos.
I agree. And it was funny you were mentioning hell Evan there. Well, you can turn Hail HALL into Hail HAIL, so it would be like Hail 11, or you know, like all hail the king, you know, all hail heaven, you know, or 11 all hail 11.
Yeah,
you know, so
and
it could be like
heaven, who says the hell,
a praise and worship type thing, you know, like we're all hail the 11, you know.
That's why I researched the 11th, because it, as you know, you see it all the time now. When you expose yourself to it, it reveals. And that's when people talk about, oh, hidden in plain sight, everything's there. Everything's there. It's just layers. It's like an onion. Life out there, this realm that we live in, is like an onion. The more you delve into it, the more layers you whip off. And it reveals shit. You know, that's the down basic as you can get. More layers, and then people say, well, who runs this realm? Is there a god? Is there not a god? Is there a devil? You know, is there demons? Why does demons etymology trace itself back to genius for intelligence? Why? You know, why is this language so messed up? Why is it spells? Why is the Bible full of go spells? It's like, you know, it really is trippy. And that's what I want more in the community, more smiles, more laughter. Because, you know, when we're laughing and smiling, these vessels are agitated, they're emotional, you know, they're happy, you know what I mean? And you experience, then emotions come into it. How can you learn if you're angry as well, if you're not happy? Do you know what I mean? People don't realize that when it's your temperament at the time as you're researching. If you're researching and you're unhappy or you're unwell, you're not going to research and look at this realm as good. If you're, you know, if you're healthy, if you're happy, you know, that's why you say if you're happy and you know it, shout, you know, and clap your hands. You know what I mean? Frequency, you know, clap, sound. Sound is key. You know, and that's why we speak the vocal cords, the voice of God. Why do we have the voice of God in us? Are we gods? Are we demigods? You know, because you think about it, if you watch all these films and information and Hercules, demigod, son of Zeus, and etc., if God created us, are we not demigods? We can procreate. We have all these magical things and capable of magical things, capable of evil too. Yes, you're thinking, doesn't it, Ryder?
I mean, that goes to, you know, what I was talking about, the, you know, God, we're a thought form of God, then that would make us a part of God, and we would be some sort of demigod. We'd be gods in our own right, because we came from the thought process of God. And
Yeah.
then
And then you had the demigods fighting the old titans, and
what do we create as gods? Like that's the issue, and that's the problem. Like what are we creating here?
That's a deep one, isn't it? Getting people thinking. You ain't just coming just for a laugh. I'm raised by giants. That's what we do now. We're talking and we're like thinking as well, because it is wow. And that's videos in itself. That's content on itself, guys. If you want, because when we make content, sometimes, it's I make videos differently than a lot of people. I used to think about it. Oh, I'm gonna do this and do this, and now I don't know. I do know what the next video is because I found it making this video. But I'm not saying on that. But what I'm saying, I let it find me. I let the topic find me. And it's so funny when you do a topic like this and you're looking at, for instance, if I looked into letter B, whatever I found on B, I would put it in the video and show you. And people, it's crazy how this community works. Oh, you've got that so wrong. This channel says that's B, and this is what it's B, and you're a shilling your gatekeeper because you're telling people it's this. No, did you not hear me? I'm showing you what I found. It's my journey making the video. And when I go on that journey, whatever I find, I'll show you. If I find stuff it says it's contrary to that, I'll show it in the videos. People can't handle that. I made a video on Stonehenge, and because in the community people are told it was made in 1958, the abuse I got was you ain't seen nothing like it. And you might think, well, why do people believe it was built in 58? Because there's photographs and videos showing it being put up. But when I show you older footage of it being built, it being built? You know what I mean? It's like people just get so triggered. They don't like you having a different opinion. It's all great when you're talking about something that they agree with, but as soon as you talk about something that they don't like, that's when the spell comes out. That's when the attack mode. And that's what me and Ryder have always said. When you get like that, because we get it like it, there's my hand held high saying, I have an ego, and I get triggered, because a triggered is an emotional response. So if we are human, we've been inbuilt, emotions, personas, faces, masks, that we get triggered. And it's all right to say that you get triggered because it's showing you're emotional, you care about the topic. But it's how you then ask the questions or attack, you know what I mean? And that's what people just have lost. It's straight on attack. You got to show gatekeeper and regurgitate this information. You can't be saying that. And that's what's happened with the community, unfortunately. And, we are here just to give our 2 cents and show it's okay to have an ego. It's okay to have, emotional responses, because we're human. We get. I'm not a saint. I'm just a guy who's using this platform to basically save memories. When I research, instead of writing it all down and having 15 million books everywhere, I can just save a file to the computer and I share that open to the public. When is it become acceptable to talk to people like shit because whatever information you put on the video is taken? For instance, if I scratch my eyes too much, people say, oh, I'm a Freemason because I'm scratching my eye. Or if I wear a t-shirt, we're getting away from why we're here. You know what I mean? And there's too much of this, gang banging going on. And, that's one of the biggest turn-offs for me in the community. It's why I'm basically, like Ryder says, how would you get in contact with you, Paul? Because I'm hard to get hold of, because I've just had enough of it. You know what I mean? And I'm mild-mannered. I respect a lot of people's opinion, but I just can't be bothered with the shit that goes along with it. You know what I mean? It's a strange world, isn't it, Ryder? And not literally just with all these theories. It's like the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I don't know, the way that I'm looking at triggered people and like emotional response people is that they're there's something wrong with them. It's a reflection of themselves that's lashing out at you. It's not what you did. It's not what you said. It's not the content that you produced. It has to do with themselves. Yeah. And it has to do with everything it has to do with their mental state. It has to do with their emotional state, the things that they've been through in their life. You know, and I've really just taken a step back from that, and I'm just like, I'll just hit them with a thumbs up or a care react emoji. I mean, your posts are some of the funniest ones on Facebook. People on your Facebook feeds are hilarious. Like that one post that you made about Janus being, I think it was Yahweh, and you listed a bunch of different other gods, and then that one person on there was like, "No, it's not Janus, it's Yeshua. Yeshua's the God of all," and then you like kept going on and on and on, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is freaking hilarious!" I put a really funny.
It is, and like I said, I've just told you I get triggered, but what do I not do? I don't give you abuse. And I use that as self-reflection. Like you were saying, because we all do get it. You know what I mean? We're not, why am I getting triggered by this? Why is it getting me so riled up? You know what I mean? And that's how you brought up. You know what I mean? That's how this riled, if you're swimming in a pool of turds, you're going to swallow it and you're going to stink and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's the problem. You know, people are just swimming in too much shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll post a meme. What did I post a meme of the other day? Let me quickly look. And a meme.
It was the Dalai Lama meme. The Dalai Lama.
Yeah, the Dalai Lama, like with a kissed front men, and people are like saying, "Oh, they're all women." I'm like, it's a fucking meme. And it's like you just brought down, trying to turn something so negative, because that's not what I like to do. I like to turn something negative into humorous, because you remember it that way, and you can then say, well, why is this? It's basically a meme, and people were like, "Oh, they're all women." I'm like, there's time for that. You know what I mean? You just turn something completely on its head by pushing out an agenda. And now these memes could be anything. I can make a meme about something so benign, and we've all saw that meme of white, and it says underneath something for the people who would get triggered, and that's what basically I do. I make some meme. It's just a meme, and you get people posting like why are you posting it? I'm trying to give people a laugh and a smile at different topics, and you have to push this shit on it all the time.
Yeah, that one. And I just we talked about that meme that you made in our last 11th hour episode. If you guys aren't subscribed over there, get in the link to the 11th hour is in the description of this video. Go over there and check that out. But you made a meme of Madonna, and you put an alien shirt on her. Yeah. And it looked really good, like very real. And the interesting part about that was that people spread it around like it was real, like that she really had that shirt on and everything. They were talking about adrenochrome and like all this crazy stuff. I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, Paul made this meme. If you've seen this meme, this image floating around the internet, he made this. This isn't real.
Yeah. And people just all the time, and what I was talking about the other day, when you're talking about the kiss one, that's the kiss one. A lot of my memes seem to do well, because I just try and do it for a bit of humor.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
You know what I mean? And it's and they're like, "Oh, they're all late," and I'm like, come on. You know what I mean? We there is a lot of that, the transgender out there, but why do you have to comment on every, leave like, I mean, like for instance, I know there's a lot of Trump supporters, and I did the Rambo meme the other day. He's out, he escaped from custody. Yeah. You know what I mean? Sometimes, like I was saying at the beginning, sometimes we just need a laugh. Do you know what I mean? Laughing is key. The stuff I'm seeing passed around as the truth, and facts in this community. I get it, and I'm like, you're really passing that on. So honestly, it's like, how can you be passing that on as fact? You know what I mean? And you I just don't know how people get away with doing it. It's like, give yourself, your head a wobble. I mean, people are believing all this shit, and I just don't get how we've come to this. Where anything can be made.
What was the one that you posted the other day that said, why is everyone sharing this and passing it off as real? I think it was a video or an article or something.
Oh yeah, the thing that was about Prince Harry and Meghan.
Oh yes. Talk to us about that.
I can't show you the video on here, but I can show you the image, and everyone saw it, and I'm like, it's basically them two on screen and the waving.
Yeah, where she looks like a robot, and everyone's like, yeah she's a robot.
They look really weird, and I'm like, guys, it's from Madame Tussauds. Here's the link. And I'm like, are we getting that bad in the community when we're posting a video from that and it's been chopped down and it's them, oh, look at these, how they're wearing the mask and it's skin. I mean, I'm not even saying they're not in that in real life. I'm not, but I'm showing this image that was going around where they look really, really weird. It's live Madame Tussauds, which Madame Tussauds are famous wax, wax people, and with this they just had the models underneath and just the face, and I posted the link, and the abuse that you get for it, it's like, I'm showing you, you're posting these videos as evidence of them being not what they are, and it makes a mockery and of it. We've all been done, again, hold my hand up, we've posted stuff that we believe be correct, because we all automatically go into this conclusion. And when you go on someone's page, you're like, oh, they're not a bad researcher, they know the shit, they're not going to post anything that's not been checked. Bam. And that's why it gets passed on. And the countless times all this stuff happens, and I'm telling people, listen, don't fall for it, it ain't real. And it's like, no, listen, and then it gets proven. We had this, regurgitated us being at Denver. Now it's at CERN. This image of this coming out like a bottomless pit. I'm like, it's street art. There's a thing called reverse image search. You go and check things. And if people might think, well, it's not annoying. It's just like, there's people out there believing this to be credible.
So just to reiterate here, the video of Meghan and Harry looking like, Meghan basically looking like a robot, that was a wax figure, basically a robot figure, right?
Yeah, it was like a human, like a model with a wax head on him, waving, and people were freaking out. It's like, this went viral. It's not even real.
What is that, an AI photograph?
Yeah, it's one of them AI things of like it was called a serpent cat, and that was going around the community is real. And it's like, do people, and that's what we've come to, and that's why we get a lot of triggered people, because, if you post an out on the page and then I come along, which I don't, but I'll post it on my page, or if I know that you will get triggered or upset, because what you're doing is you don't want to go onto someone's page and say that's fake, because what do they automatically do? You get defensive and arguing. I've had people, do you remember that old image of face masks on like an artistic thing? I think I've showed it before, and that was getting passed around and being at Denver Airport. And it was funny because I just did a video a few years ago in Denver Airport, and it's not there. And I said to people, it's not at Denver Airport. Oh, yes, it is. I live in Denver and I go to the airport regular. I've seen it. I said, don't be a lying little. He said, and I bang, there's the artist. There's his work. That's where it is. Oh, where have they gone? They've disappeared. They've gone. They've unfriended me. what is wrong with saying, you know what, Paul, I got it wrong. I've got it wrong. Once or twice. You know, I'm not infallible. But I try and hold my hand up and say, I don't know, or, you know, what, I've got that wrong. But in the community, we can't do it. Can't do it.
I really think that it's come down to an agenda here, Paul. I think it's an agenda to make people hate our reality so much and everything that's happening so much that we will be blamed for a big collapse. I think that that's really the agenda here. I mean, there's really no other way to quantify it in your head other than it's planted there on purpose. It's done on purpose for some kind of agenda. I mean, that's the only thing that I can think of.
I mean, these things get passed around as true.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, you've only got reverse image search. And there it is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, if you say, listen, look at this cool, this has been made, it's cool. You know, and there is some rocks that do look like animals, but a lot of it is fake. You know what I mean? And what is wrong with people saying, you know, you've got it wrong? For instance, there was an old meme I made, and that just shows you how quickly it can come. The only difference between a friend and a demon is the letter R. And that's just it. Just that one little... And that's all the difference. Can you see it there, Ryder?
Yep.
Only difference between a friend and a demon. You take away that R, and a fiend is a demon. It's something evil. So that one letter, because how many times do you type in, yes, my friend, or something, and the R, you keep having to put the R in sometimes. There's a fine line between everything. And it's all about having a laughs and, you know, making shit up. I do it. But we're at a world where people's attention span is waning because of TikTok. And I'm not having a go at TikTok. I said that last time, and someone was like, what's your problem against TikTok? I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? You're not allowed to have an opinion anymore, or opinion is different from theirs. And that's what the community in sense of is. I've always said the community, the truth is being weaponized. Because when you believe you're doing something for the truth or for God, you'll go to war. And that's what they want.
Yeah.
They don't want you rational and going, hey, why am I getting triggered over such and such? You know what I mean? It's like, you know, and people who know me know I don't go out to create tension or anything. You know what I mean? It's people just wanting you to think like them. And that's why I said at the beginning, I just want people to have a laugh and learn shit on the way. You know what I mean? It's, you know, it's just a beautiful place, and in the minute it's more negative. Why are people telling us the world is ending tomorrow? It's like, you're not going to be happy until the world is ended. Are you going to get killed and come back and say, I told you so? Why not be more positive and making the world better so we live in it better? You know, if we're here for a ride, let's have a pleasant ride. You know, not like dragging ourselves over glass. It's like, I don't get it when people are saying it's Armageddon and it's the apocalypse and it's end times. We've had 16 black winters. We've had it and end times. Remember, if this place is a place where we can manifest shit, do you think you talking about it ending tomorrow is going to eventually happen? Then you're going to be happy. You know, and I don't want people walking around top of the morning and all this, you know what I mean? But, you know, have a laugh, pass some shit on, you know, learn some shit. Try not to be as negative, but we need balance. You need light and dark. You know what I mean? It's
Absolutely.
You know,
I think that that's what our reality is based on, is light and dark. And I think that a lot of this stuff comes from the need and the want to believe, right? They want to believe so badly deep down within the very fiber of their being that they're willing to take on any kind of information, even though it's not real or it's not factual or it's regurgitated information that has zero proof and zero evidence and zero backing to it. You know, it comes from that deep rooted sense of wanting to believe. And I think that that really comes from religion. A lot of that comes from religion, because people take the Bible and these religious texts to actually be literal. So therefore, but we don't see any evidence of any of that in our reality, right? We don't see the rivers parting from a magical, mystical, rod. We don't see people turning water into wine in our reality. We don't see, all these miracles that are. We don't see, talking snakes unraveling from trees. We don't see any of that kind of stuff in this reality now. But still, people take that information that is written in these texts as being real, legitimate, literal information. It's wild. Like, do you see any evidence for any of those stories around us at all? Like, do we see any spectacular miracles happening? I mean, it depends on your definition of what a miracle is, right? When I'm talking about like the fairy tale kinds of miracles, you don't see that kind of stuff happening in our reality. So why would you take that to be real? It's exactly
like the word that you just said. Miracle. What's it got in it? If you say phonetically, mirror.
Yeah.
People talk about this reality being a mirror. Miracles. Mirror, scrying mirrors.
Yeah.
You have two scrying mirrors. Pardon me, eyes. They're irises, black mirrors. That's why they're black. Because they're scrying mirrors. They used to use your phone as a scrying mirror. It's a Ouija board, just like your computer. You talk to spirits daily. So, you know what I mean? It's you break it down to that, and it basically is it's our want and need for information. We want this to exist, because if it's not, the conclusion is then, it dawns on you. And that's why we give away our discernment. And discernment contains the scrying, if I remember from the old video, because I brought that down too. But also CERN. And, people talk about CERN. People say CERN's not doing anything. People will say, oh, it's opening portals. And I say, well, who's the god of portals? Who's connected to it all? And that's why I investigate and look into that, because they believe him to be this. It's like one of my friends, and he didn't mean it, in a bad way. And he was talking about something. And I said, I think was it Macrobius, or the other Roman poet or author. And in this, they talk about who Janos's name is. Deus Deorum means God of gods. And when I say things like this, people say, no, he's not God of gods. And you get them people saying, it's this. Listen, I'm telling you what they believe. Did not say I believe it. And that's what people do. They get triggered straight away. When I post all my stuff on Twitter and things, it's like, how dare you blaspheme? I'm showing you what they believe. Is it not good to see what the so-called people that we are fighting are thinking? No, there's only one. It's like I give up sometimes. you know what I mean? It's like, why? Why do you bother? And that's like, why now? It's like I'm being forced to step away from it all, and I don't see why I should. And I'm not. I'm just making content, but I know I'm not promoting myself as big as I could, because people are just not ready. It's like you said before. They don't think why they're getting triggered. It's your fault they're getting triggered. It's, you're telling lies. I mean, I remember when I used to do my videos. Well, I still make videos, but you know what I mean? The early days, it's like oh, you're sending people, you're a gatekeeper, you're sending people down the wrong path. And I'm like, so me telling people, don't take this for fact. Please go and check this information for yourself. Please know this is not my personal opinion. I'm just basing it on what I find. It's leading people down the wrong path. Fucking hell. Really? Are you that dumb? And that's what we've got to live with. You're getting people in positions in the community that don't like you because you're saying a different message to them. Remember, people are making a lot of money in the community on certain topics, and they don't want you to think for yourself. They don't want you to look differently. You know, one of the big topics is Tartaria. It's a big psyop, you know what I mean? And I don't mean it didn't exist, but what people believe it to be. You know what I mean? Sometimes we look too deep in there, and this will be told, oh, who's called Tart? Listen, I've got Tartaria videos. It does actually exist, but it's not what people believe. That's just an opinion on what I've researched, you know, and there has been ancient advancement and ancient races. You know what I mean? But we're talking about a period in time where, just for instance, I've done my videos on walls, or I'm doing it. There's walls everywhere. Why are we building walls if we're all getting on and we're all one advanced race? I don't think so. Do you, Ryder? You don't build all these walls if you're getting on with everyone and you're one advanced race and you're living in harmony. You're not. You know, we fight. How many battles have been done for war? For religion? Oh, you're left-handed. You must be a witch, right? I'm going to burn you if you float, or you know, if you sing, you're a witch. You know, if you float, you're a witch. That's it. If you floated, you were a witch, and if you sank and died, you were all right. You weren't a witch. And like, well, you're dead. It's just a funny, and you know what I mean. When you go against the grain, it's not liked. It's not promoted. You know. It's like being in school. Oh, we love critical thinkers. Okay, I think it's that, right? Get to the teacher. I thought you said it'd be good to critical think and think differently. Oh, no. When it's no change in the community. You think differently, you will get attacked because people are making money out of it. They don't want the income stream to be thwarted.
Yep, and they want to be the arbiter, and they want everyone to come to them for the information. They want to be the arbiter of the truth. And it's also interesting too, like people that predict dates, you know, end of time dates, apocalyptic dates, you know, they're never right. None of these people are ever right.
No
one that ever predicts a date about anything has ever been right. Going back from way back to like death cults and like prophets and all that throughout time, they've never been right. None of them. You know.
And I mean,
so why are we putting?
When I posted, I think I was talking with you, Ryder, on one of our 11s, and I'm saying, this is a book. Book is indoctrination too, just like your phone, just like your TV, like your computer. And people were having a go at me for attacking books. I've got books. But you've got to think that's just a paperized version of what we've got in front of us. Whoever wrote that book, I'm not reading it, you know, but it's ironic that his name is. Look at his name.
Rudolph Koch.
Cock.
That's how you would say it? Koch?
Yeah.
Rudolph Koch.
German or Austrian. But what I'm saying is, just because it's a book does not mean it's indoctrinated. And that, you know, that was the only thing I said. I have no problems with books. I've got some books. I'm dyslexic and I'm trying to help myself read better. But I know, just like TV, just like a phone, just like a computer, that whatever they want to spin in their book, they want that book to be sold, you know, and that's their income. You know what I mean? So that's the opinion. That book there is about symbols. Does that mean I have to go along with every symbol that's in this book? And it's fact. You know, all these symbols in this book. Does that mean no other symbol out there is real or right? Because this is a book. And people get triggered because you're attacking books. when did I attack a book? I've lost subs. Saying books are just indoctrination tools, just like anything else. It's how you use it.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Yeah, you're a little frozen.
Yeah, I can see myself. I've only got my little self on the screen, so if I'm frozen, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I just decided to have a little moment. But yeah, a book is just like anything else. It's just a tool that we all use. You know what I mean? So use it, but don't put it above everything else because it can be manipulated. Is that not just common sense, Ryder?
It is common sense. I mean, just because it's written down, just because it's in the book, you're just getting somebody else's perspective. I mean, how many other people were in the world the time that book was written? You know, like what about all those other people's perspective? You're just getting one singular person's perspective of events, right? So, you know, hey, I mean, if I read some books, I actually read one the other day, which I found very fascinating. And normally for people that I'm going to bring on for an interview, if they have a book, like I'll read it. But other than that, like I don't really read too many books. But yeah, it's unbelievable when people are, you know, talking about dates. Oh yeah, in 2050, the world's going to end. There's going to be a big, huge event. Like how many different people have predicted the end of time in the past 200 years? The date comes and goes. Nothing ever happens.
Yeah. But you've got to think about it. How are you basing your theories? And people say, well, I'm basing off days, 7 days a week. Yeah. And then weeks in, days in, hours in, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months. Well, at one period of time, we had 8 days in a week. Oh, okay. And then, the calendar's changed, lost dates. So when we're actually saying a date now, we don't know when it is because it's been bastardized so much. You know, people talk about the moon and going off the moon cycles and 13 months, and then, in other religions and when other people took over, I'm still here, just frozen, guys. He's frozen on me Chrome Dome.
Beautiful shot of that head.
On the screen for that bit, Ryder. I'm actually naked now. But
okay, perfect.
That's why he's probably froze. But yeah, that's what
I'm
saying.
Get
so
naked
if I say in ancient times, people arguing over the calendar. You'll have people arguing over the Mayan calendar. You'll have people arguing and using the Ethiopian calendar or the Judea calendar, or I've got the calendar of me and that outweighs all yours because I said so. It's like, really? So my point is, how can you say in 100 years or 10 years the world's going to end if you don't actually know what the date and time is a man-made construct?
I mean, it happened several times throughout history. I mean, one of the last ones was the Branch Davidians in the 80s. They gathered all these people at this facility because they were all thought that the world was going to end on this specific date. So they all gathered. I think there was like hundreds of people. I think there was like 500 to 800 people all gathered in this area because they thought that the world was going to end, and they had it all mapped out. They had all the references from the Bible. They had calculated it. They had put it all together. They had referenced it, and they all came to this conclusion that the world was going to end. Armageddon was going to be on this specific date. They all gathered up, hundreds of people, and they were preparing for the world to end.
Yeah.
And the date came and went, and nothing happened. So why would it, doesn't make anybody else any more special. It's just a regurgitation of something that's been done to gain some sort of popularity now, And then, David Koresh did almost the exact same thing with the Branch Davidians. He thought that the end of the world was going to happen in 95, which, he was killed there before that. Him and his the whole facility went up in flames. But it's just it's a regurgitation. We have all these signs of people thinking that they're prophets, that they're incarnated son of God, like that they're all of these things, and they profess and they get all these followers and all these people. It's just a new regurgitated thing in a different way. Now it's being delivered through a different medium, right? It's being delivered through the computer. It's being delivered through your phone instead of, being in person.
Yeah, that's why it can be a powerful message, because it's through the medium.
Yeah.
Medium means middle, and this computer is a Ouija board, and you're moving a cursor, a mouse around with that little arrow, which is, it's the angle of the cursor on the Ouija board. So we're talking with spirits, we're playing people's emotions, and it's just, like you just said, profit. Isn't money profit?
Yeah.
It just seems funny that the people pushing all these agendas are banking their cash. It's like when I was talking to a friend the other day about something, it's like all these sites wanting to help you want to charge you. Well, why can't you tell us for free and get donations? That's a way of doing it, isn't it? If you want to really, really help someone, why charge behind a paywall? Listen, I'm not against anyone. Making content is a lot harder, and we're putting a lot of effort into it. I believe it's a cause. We were doing this for the right reasons, and there's no harm in, like, there's a donation. Because you don't make loads, but why hide completely behind this? And what you'll get used is the censorship. Well, we know there's censorship. You've had a friend that had the channel taken down. But and I'm not against people. I never have. It's just that when you see certain channels, it's like, the world's going to end tomorrow. Buy my book on how to survive it for $29.99. It's like, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
And you get all these, like, angelic, and these, and what are they called now? Evangelists and things on, trying to sell and making coin and living the life of luxury when people, who supposedly got nothing. It's, it's a fucked up world.
It is. But since you're frozen, my friend, I think we're going to wrap it up. Let people know.
See, he's freezing up now because I'm not moving. It's not my fault.
It's frozen. No one can see you. No one can. They're just seeing your head, your beautiful shiny head.
Just put an image over something better, just for this clip or something, or shine your head. Put some baby oil on that head, dude. Yeah. Make you look nice and shiny. It's this computer. I have to get a new one eventually.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed the conversation, Paul. Thanks so much for coming on, brother. Let people know where they can find you online. Plug your YouTube channel.
You can be very hard to find me online, but I am on, obviously, WhatTheFlockTV on YouTube. I am on WhatTheFlockTV on Twitter. I am WhatTheFlockTV on Instagram. And if you want to catch any other older videos that I've not put up onto me, I'm WhatTheFlockTV on Odysee and the Black Sheep Researcher on Odysee. And obviously me and Ryder have the 11th hour. I know I've frozen, but that's just because of the sheer truth that we've been talking today. It's frozen me because I'm amazed.
Yes, all the links to all of Paul's information will be in the description of this video, and subscribe to the 11th hour. That is mine and Paul's combination. We come together, Goldenrod Brothers Connect. And go check him out on all the different platforms. Subscribe to him on YouTube.
I am waving. Just my screen's frozen.
And for everyone else, thanks for watching and listening. Much love to everyone in the chat. Please be sure to hit the thumbs up button to help the channel in the algorithm. Share, subscribe, hit the bell icon as well for notifications. And remember, we're not only in a spiritual war, but a war on humanity. Stay aware, stay alert, keep loving your heart for everyone, stay safe out there. And if you can see through the illusion, you are the solution. See you guys next time.